Hello and welcome to the business programme. I'm Liz Hay and today my special guest is Joanna Lavan, Managing Director of ConnectChina, who have their headquarters in Huddersfield and offices in London and Shanghai. Joanna's work means she travels to China at least 8 times per year, and she even accompanied our Prime Minister Theresa May on her official visit to China back in January, when she announced £9 billion worth of new deals for British companies. Joanna is a founder member of the China Advisors Network, a fellow of the Institute of Export and visiting fellow of University of Leeds Business School. Hi Joanna, and a warm welcome to the programme.
Hi Liz.
Can you tell us a bit about ConnectChina and detail some of the business support services that you offer?
Yeah, okay, so ConnectChina is a specialist international consultancy, and we help companies and organisations do business with China.
And is this support solely for Yorkshire-based businesses?
It's not. Most of our clients tend to be Yorkshire because of where we're located, but we do work throughout the UK, and we also have a number of international clients as well who just happen to have found us through the website. So we're working with companies in Ireland, US, Canada, we have links to Pakistan, Italy, so it's growing.
So how do you typically acquire new clients, Joanna, and what are you often asked to supply first?
Okay, so most of our clients are word of mouth or referrals. Often companies are looking at doing business with China. They could be trying to source products from China or sell to China. So typically it could be a look at whether the market has got potential for that client, and identifying partners in China that can work with the British company. We also get clients as a result of companies that have problems in China. The Chinese partner hasn't paid them. Help, how can we help them?
And how important is it that businesses get the right kind of advice and support before they begin sourcing supplies, taking visits to China, or indeed signing contracts with Chinese companies?
Okay, very important. If you think that China's got 29 provinces in total, including autonomous regions and municipalities, so it's huge, it's bigger than Europe, so it's important that companies identify where they need to start in China, because there's no point saying, I'm going to China, where do you start? So they need to do some research first, or we can help them with that, to identify the best location for the company to start.
And what types of opportunities are Chinese investors and businesses interested in here in the UK? And are you noticing any particular trends?
Well, because the pound is weak at the moment, it has brought lots of opportunities for Chinese investors. The Chinese are desperate for technology. So anything to do with technology, high technology, investors are interested in. Consumer brands as well, because China has moved quite quickly from communism to capitalism to consumerism, and they have a lot of money to spend, and why not spend it here?
So what would be your top tips, Joanna, for exploring relationships with Chinese businesses or indeed the government? And are there any basic things that we can be doing in terms of business etiquette to really impress?
Well, first of all, a company has to visit the country. Some companies are lucky and they can do it from here, but it rarely works because it's all about business relationships first, and then the actual business follows. So it's understanding the culture, understanding that the Chinese like to negotiate, understand that they have to eat, have banquets with the Chinese business partner. And before we take companies to China, we always give them a cultural briefing, business briefing.
And have you got any local business success stories that you can share with us?
Yeah, we have a few. I think one of our oldest business successes is back from June 2000, where we took a group of companies to China for the first time. They got their first order, which was £5,000, but it gave them the incentive to set up in China. So they set up a representative office in the October, and 2 years later set up a manufacturing operation. And they're doing fantastically well in China still,
Right.
18 years later. Another company wanted to look at sourcing products directly from China. So we identified the manufacturers for 6 products. We got the prices, the initial quotations. The company visited the factories, decided which ones they wanted to work with, and that made a difference in turnover of £1 million and obviously increased the bottom line.
Fabulous. And finally, is there any funding available to help support businesses who want to work with partners in China?
There is. If DIT, Yorkshire and Humber DIT, they have a fund called Export for Growth, and they have to have an appointment with the International Trade Advisor, who will take them through the steps for that funding, but they can get 50% towards the cost of developing the China market.
Thanks, Joanna. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and thanks for sharing your expertise with our viewers.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. Now that's all we have time for on today's show. I'd like to thank my guest, Joanna Lavan from ConnectChina,